Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this, what is today, December 7th. We're 81 years later for the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, 81 years ago. Time flies, my friend. Not that I was alive during Pearl Harbor, but I like to be one of remembrance. Going to have here in a little bit, next few minutes. Sorry, my collar's a little messed up here. I lost track of time. Have Andre Gibson in. Carlos is the Friday guest. We'll have him in. Looks like he's already in the back studio there. Looks like there's no technical issues today. Knock on some wood. Going to talk about Deion Sanders. A lot of people didn't like the way he handled that press conference. I'll ask Andre about that and what's his thoughts on that. Of course, John Robertson being fired. I'll ask him about that. We'll go over that. But first, let me say this. Aaron Judge, and this was news that broke this morning, has agreed to re-sign with the Yankees for 9-year, $360 million deal. Now, you guys know I don't talk a lot of baseball on the program here, but I've been following this story for about a year now. And, of course, Mac and Jack and Jim Jeffcoat's show, they asked me about it. Judge bets on himself by turning down a $230 million 8-year deal last year, gets $130 million more added on. Obviously, you know, he beat Roger Maris's record. He wins the AL MVP, has a really good season there. And I'll say this. There were reports that teams like the Giants were interested in him. The San Diego Padres were interested in him. And my thing about that is, for one thing, the Padres got a lot of big-time players on their team, okay? Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Joe Musgrave, Hugh Jarvis. That you got two $300 million guys and a couple $100 million guys on their team. I don't see how they would have been able to pull it off. But I'll say this. This reminds me of the very first major 10-year contract that I can remember going back 22 years. 10-year, $252 million deal with the Texas Rangers from the Seattle Mariners, Alex Rodriguez. And mind you, A-Rod, better known as, this guy comes into this team, 3 Silver Slugger awards, 2 Gold Gloves, 3 All-Stars, and he has the MVP year in 2003, and they can't afford him. So my whole point is they trade, make a long story short, they trade the guy to the Yankees. He gets another 10-year deal because he opts out in 2007. They go on and win the World Series, and they're the type of organization that can absorb this. I'm sure the Steinbrenner family talked to the general manager, Brian Cashman, and said, hey, look, the guy's 31 years old. He's going to be 39, 40 towards the end of this thing. You may have to eat the last 3, possible 4 years of this contract, but do you want a guy that broke Roger Maris's record in 1961 of 61 home runs to leave your organization and go to a small market only to probably come back later, or you want to go ahead and pay it? The Yankees are one of the only teams that can handle this contract. So I think they'll be okay. Obviously, it's a lot of money. I did read Darren Ravel. This is how expensive California is. He puts out that he saved $7 million by going to New York from California. So on that note, we'll stand by here, folks. We'll do a quick commercial break. I'll come back. We'll bring in the great Andre Gibson here in a minute and 19 seconds here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. After 5 years of doing this program once a week, balancing a 60-hour work week job, I've decided to do the program 5 days a week, 1 hour a night, taking a significant pay cut. So I've started a Patreon page, which is Patreon, Patreon /SportsScope. spelled the same way at the bottom of the screen you see there. For $5 a month, 17 cents a day, you can help support the program. You ask yourself, why Sports Scope? Well, I bring in such big names such as Al Borges, former Auburn offensive coordinator, and I cover the big news in sports that the corporate media will not cover. If you want to contribute more than $5 a month, you can go use the Cash App. The cash tag is Sports Scope, again, spelled the same way. Or you can go to the Zelle app, sportscope@gmail.com. SportsScope has about 5,000 followers and growing. If you want to advertise on the program, you can email me. The word is SportsScope, spelled the same way again, @gmail.com. Thank you and enjoy the program. Now I'm back. Andre, I'm sure you were back backstage here. Unmute your mic there, buddy. And come on in, Andre. Now I can't see you on here, buddy. Let's see what the deal is here. Oops. Well, now he's went off. Let's see. He comes back in. Let's see if he comes back in. I don't know what happened. I was going to bring him in and ask him about this. Contract here. We have had the worst luck here lately. Hey, Andre, can you hear me, man? Maybe I don't think he can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So what's your thoughts, man, on this contract? Do you think the Yankees will regret signing this contract to Aaron Judge? $40 million a year.
I'm sure, man. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, you might have to speak into the mic a little bit.
The Yankees organization, man, they for all intents and purposes, they got deep pockets. They love to spend that money. They've been spending money on players since Babe Ruth. So this ain't nothing new for the Yankees organization. I'm a Yankees fan, man, and it's a good. They did it with A-Rod and Reggie Jackson. You know, you can name.
Yeah. Can you speak into the mic a little bit more, man? I can't hardly hear you, Chief.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
The Yankees have spent more on players since the days of Babe Ruth. So, okay, so they're not scared to spend money, and it's a show in business, man. In order to best out there, man, you got to spend the best. So the Yankees have always done it. Look at their track record in the pennants, man. In the balance, who am I to say how much they should give us? The ceiling when is enough gonna be enough for money? If they feel they can pay him that deal, and he had two other teams looking at him, the Yankees knew they wanted to keep him in the pinstripes, so they had to come a little better. So.
Yeah. Hey, your reception's bad, man. I can't hardly hear you, Chief. Hey, can you want to try to reconnect, Andre? I can't hardly hear you still.
Yeah.
Boy, you sound great
I'll
that
try
first
to get
week.
on my other.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm losing my voice. But can you hear me a little better now before I switch out?
A little bit, but it's not as good as it was a couple weeks ago. Whatever he was using a couple weeks ago, not last week. Well, he's went off. He's going to try to come back on. No, so going back to Aaron Judge, he is obviously it's Pickle says he's worth every dime in New York. Now, again, the Yankees. They absorbed they're one of the few organizations that can absorb the big contract like this. You look at the Rangers. I mean, I just said what Alex Rodriguez did with the Rangers. Let me see if I can bring Andre. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, brother.
Oh, now you're good. Yeah, that's a good one, man.
Okay, we'll do what we can do with it while we can do it. So let's go. Woo! Where we
Well,
at,
you
man?
know,
I
the
don't want to get
Yankees,
lost.
there's no salary cap in Major League Baseball. I'm okay with it. They can absorb it.
Yeah.
The Braves couldn't absorb it. You know, Seattle couldn't absorb it.
Okay. You can go back to the days, man. Like I said, Babe Ruth going forward, man, to people like Reggie Jackson when they brought him in from the Yankees and Catfish Hunter and
Yeah.
Raleigh Fingers. One thing about Steinbrenner that you have to love, man. Now, was he being a capitalist or greedy about gobbling up players back then? No more than
Yeah.
anybody else would have done. But going forward, how many people is gonna turn down a salary like it, man? Be it A Rod or
Yeah.
Judd, it's a win-win for both parties, man, because the Yankees get to fill up the seats at the house that Roof built, and any two teams that were trying to get Judd, at the end of the day, they would have pulled out, man. They just couldn't match that Yankee pocket, man. And pocket
Yeah.
too deep, man. You know,
And
and
he saved $7 million in a state tax from California. That tells you how expensive California is. Apparently, the Giants, I think he's from the Bay Area,
yeah,
and the Padres were interested. The Padres already got Manny Machado. They're paying this guy $300 million. Pickles. Fernando Tatis, 14-year contract, over $300 million. He's already failed a drug test, by the way. Suspended 80 games. I'm not a big baseball guy, but I'll tell you this. They've got two $300 million contracts and two $100 million. I've started to think of the Padres. Are they using Ponzi scheme money? I mean, where are they getting this kind of money in that small market, man? You know, I'm glad Judge didn't take it. I think they would have probably moved off of him, and he would have had to move.
Oh yeah, that's a lot
Remember,
of money.
the Angels moved off of Pujols in the middle of his big deal, or towards the end.
Okay. Well, you know what, man, with the player salaries that you stated, the three of them, they could buy a baseball team with the money they was making, man. That's what I'm saying, man. If the owners and the fans are willing to absorb that cost, man, more power to them, brother. But
Yeah.
I can't see, because in order to fund that kind of salary, man, they're gonna go up on something, brother. Whether it's a hot dog or a $9 bill, something's
Yeah.
gonna pay for that, man. And I don't want to be the one to pay for that. So,
You know, the Yankees, they have their own network. I was living in New York, Andre, back in 2002. And they had the Yes Network. They just started getting their own Yankee network going then. That was back when they were rolling, man. They had Jeter. They had they didn't quite have A-Rod yet. Mariano Rivera, just big name player after big name player. And the best deal I got in New York was paying $8 for bleacher seats at Yankee Stadium. But the stadium's huge. It's like a football stadium. The old Yankee Stadium, not the new one they play in now, in the Bronx. And their money's coming from that network. Now, other teams have gotten something similar to that, but it's just that Yankee brand. You know, they're willing to pay it. It's such a big brand. You got 81 home games, something like that. You got 162. Nobody else can really handle it. I mean, markets like Seattle, they always they never finish these big contracts. Other smaller markets that sign these players like this, they can't stomach it, man. Minnesota, it would take all those teams down. They did have a big hit in Minnesota. They signed a catcher one year to a similar contract, like $100 million plus. And they end up regretting it a few years later.
Well, you know what they used to say about the Minnesota market, man. Was probably like the shirt that I'm wearing, the Cavaliers, many years ago back in the 70s. The running joke was there's only two things that Minnesota had was Kirby Puckett and Prince. So,
yeah, that Chris Rock said that.
That's it, but he wasn't far from wrong. But the market that the Yankees and teams like that have, man, they got a strong fan base, man, and when you got that legacy that the Yankees have, man, that's a team everybody love to hate, but secretly love to watch because they've had big marquee name players, man. It's always been a
Yeah.
foregone conclusion.
Right. Giancarlo Stanton's a big home run hitter, you
Yeah,
know?
there you go.
And then you got him and Stanton. I mean, he beats Roger Maris's record. He almost gets the Triple Crown. They're going to regret probably the last few years, and they're okay with it. They're okay with it, you know?
They'll milk it for all it's worth, man. They cannot say they'll get it.
Like a big cow, just milk it down, won't they?
You better know it, brother. Glass and all. I hope now, will they get a return on that investment with merchandising? And if he chase another record or two, they probably will. But I got a feeling right now the Yankees kind of know what they're doing. I hope, but only time will tell, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving right along, got to talk to you. This is one of the biggest stories in the NFL of the week. John Robertson here in Nashville was fired Tuesday after Tennessee gets blown out by the Eagles on Sunday. What are your thoughts on the John Robertson firing? I think he simply got, I think he got overconfident due to the early success he had here with getting Vrabel, getting Derrick Henry, the first 2 years, early success. He started taking way too many wild risks in the draft, and it all come to head Sunday. What are your thoughts, John Robertson being fired?
Man, it was clear to see that Vrabel and John Robertson wasn't on the same page near the end. It's come to light that Vrabel did not, go along with the trade for Julio Jones or the trading away of A.J. Brown released. Remember when we lost Brett Kern? So when you start doing them kind
of the punter in the offseason,
that's it. And another thing that I don't care what job you on, man, or what your line of work is. This is my take, and this is most people's take. When I'm the owner and I'm financing this team, this is a family business handed down from family to family, from the dad to the daughter, and I'm the last to know what's going on. Something ain't right there, man. They said that he wasn't really communicating at times with Amy, man, and that's a bad deal right there,
Is
man.
that right? Is that who reported that?
Man, it's been said on a lot of media outlets, man.
Wow.
I saw today said that he was really keeping her out of the loop on something. And you asking to get fired, man. I really don't get that guy, man. Vrabel was frustrated at the draft selection, man. He fought against trading A.J. Brown away, man. But be honest, those trades blew up in our face, man. The team was not poised to move forward with the choices Robinson made, man. I saw one of our players this evening on the local news saying basically he didn't say it was a good thing, but he was saying that if it was in the best interest of the team, he said, man, I want to win. I can't remember what player it was. The Titan players want to go to the next level, man, and you got to have people that's going to take you to the next level. And if now it gives Vrabel an opportunity to make choices and decisions in the manner he want to do it in.
Well, you just hope that he doesn't get too much power. That can backfire too. You think about guys like Mike Holmgren, remember former Green Bay Packers coach?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when he took the job in Seattle and they made him general manager and coach, and that didn't work out. So then they moved him to just being the head coach, and they get all the way to the Super Bowl in 2005.
Yeah, I agree. You can't put more on your plate than you can digest at one time. You can't do it. It won't work.
Well, you're a Boston Celtics fan. You remember who's the guy that took over there in the 90s? Used to Rick Pitino. He was coach and GM there, and he says, I couldn't do both. He said it was killing me.
Yeah, and the win and loss ratio was so too. So
yeah,
and when you sitting on the sideline with $5,000 Versace suits on, and y'all lose. That ain't a good day for the green, man. That ain't a good day for the Celtic Nation. So
Yeah.
he kind of eased on out of there, man. We almost forgot about him in Celtic folklore.
Yeah. So I don't think that I'm just, speculating that. I don't think they're going to make Vrabel the general manager. She's too smart for that. That's interesting what you just said about Robertson. Yeah, his ego you can kind of see the way he was dressing lately. His ego was kind of getting out of control, taking wild swings in the draft, man. I mean, drafting guys with injury history in the first round, people like Caleb Farley, even Jeffrey Simmons. I like Jeffrey Simmons, but he tore his ACL in workouts,
Oh yeah. Well, you can't always swing for the fence, man. And when you got to either hit a home run or you better get on base, man. And the Titans wasn't getting on base enough, man. That's what the players, the locker room scuttlebutt, man, was pretty much, man. The team can't tell me they not, because you can sense it in them, man. They kind of tired of the record that they have in these one and done seasons and not going deep in the playoffs. Something got to be done. They got to implode this team next year. And I hate to say this to the Titan faithful, because I'm one as well. We better be looking at Lawan and people like that in all season, man. Something got to be done, man. It got to be done.
I think so too. They're going to have to probably make some big moves in the off. Here's the straw that stir the Campbell's back. How does that saying go? The last straw really with me was more than anything was paying Ryan Tannehill the $38 million. That's way too much money. That's why they couldn't keep AJ Brown. They were successful with him when he was making $7 million a year. In 2019, Tennessee gets to the AFC Championship game, and then they overextend him and just insane salary. This guy is a what do you call? He's not necessarily an air quote franchise quarterback type of player. He's more of a mid-level stopgap, backup at best type of player who converted from a wide receiver, and that's what really took him down, I think. And then you're saying he's not, overlooking Amy Adams. He was thinking, since I had this early success, she's a woman, she's not going to be strong-willed on me. And taking those chances, drafting guys like Corey Davis in the first with the top 5 pick. You don't take wide receivers that early. The 2017 draft, they have nobody on the roster from that draft. First. Can you believe that?
Well, like I said, I think people are saying this around the league, and media outlets are saying this one thing, that the AJ Brown debacle and humiliation of our players out there in that area caused him to lose his job. If that is the case, that would be kind of crazy, because he got us there a lot. Robinson was okay, man. He did a lot of good here.
Yeah, he did.
You can't totally blame it at AJ Brown game totally on that.
No,
I think it
plus
played.
Burks is a pretty good player. I think they could have got more for Brown. Yeah, they probably could have got maybe a third-round pick and a first-round pick.
But what do you think they could have done to have kept him, man? What do you think they should have?
It's the way you shape his cap hit. And Howie Roseman with Philadelphia, I had Philly sports guy, big Philadelphia guy, very educated, even though he puts a lot of makeup on, kind of crazy. He is a fond of that, paying $5 million in cap hit money. That's not bad, even though his contract's going to be over $20 million. This year, the cap hit's only $5 million. Well, that's just above what a rookie makes. It's a lot of it is the way that you deal with the cap and the way you write these contracts up. That's another thing. I mean, again, Ryan Tannehill, $38 million. That Tom Brady's salary is not that much this year. You know, it's just there's websites that tell you the cap hit. It's called spottrack.com. And you just cannot, anybody that goes over 12.6% of the cap hit, that team does not win Super Bowls. Well, it's like 225, Andre. His cap hit or his salary is $38 million. Well, Tennessee's way over that, obviously. They're over 12%, you know. So it's the A.J. Brown thing. I didn't know he's blowing off the owner. How arrogant can you be?
Now, I'm looking at Carlos's comment. Yeah, media reports are bonkers or whatever word people choose to use for it. But, yeah, that's what people, enough credible outlets are saying. That
he loves the tight. Carlos is from New York, but he drinks all that Kool-Aid up here.
Well, I tell you what, I gave up following the Green Bay Packers for him. I ain't gonna tell you that I'm totally sold and brought in to a degree. Yeah, I'm gonna pull for them because they my home field team. But
yeah,
diehard Packer fan, been one a long time. But I'm just saying, yeah, that's what Scuttlebutt was saying, that he wasn't keeping on the loop. And I look at it this way: what general manager that you know that don't keep they owner in the loop, you don't want to stay around. You asking, maybe he got he got ambitions to go somewhere else other than the Titans. So she helped him along the way and decided for the time being they brought in an interim, but Variable still got a lot of new power, so to speak. But Variable and him had a lot of head buttons, but you know, look at this. They asked Mike Variable in November, why do y'all run Derrick Henry 25, 26 times? I can't say the word that he said, but he basically said, blank, blank, if I throw to a receiver 50 times a game, who do I have to throw it to? So that basically lets you know I got to either kill Derrick Henry's legs or our season is a Taco Bell wrap, man. It's over. So
yeah,
you blank if you do, you blank if you don't. But at the end of the day, things got to be done, man. It's too look. Our AFC South, we know the division. They look at our division as weak anyway. But at the end of the day, in order to compete, you watch what I tell you. The Houston Texans and teams, Jaguars, them people will return, man. You look at Miami Dolphins, you ain't gonna stay in the doldrums forever. You start tweaking and trading and pulling people off of waivers. Look at Baker Mayfield. The Rams took a chance and went out there and got him.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. And this team, their offensive line's terrible. I mean, it's
horrible now.
It's terrible.
And
again, a lot of that money's going to Tannehill, and that's why Henry don't have any running room. They lost one of their best run blockers. He's up with Buffalo Bills now.
And how's he
Roger Saffold.
Now, how is he doing in your opinion?
Huh?
How's he doing in your
He's
opinion?
doing good. Their running game's getting better. They had 90 yards rushing from their running backs last week.
I'm gonna see if Carlos feel this way. when people leave this organization, they don't leave to get worse. They leave to excel. It's very rare that I've seen Titan players leave here and fall flat on their face. I can take him as far back as Randy Moss. Randy Moss stated this when he came here.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what year Moss said it out his own mouth. He said all the Titans wanted to do with me was make me a decoy. Now come on, man. You come here.
He was mad about that. He was past his prime at that point, though.
Well, pretty much, but used to be a running joke that when you went to the Titans, you came to die. you didn't come to elevate your game. You came to die.
So, you might as well have been in Arizona, huh?
Pretty much. At Cleveland at that time.
Cleveland someplace.
That's it, man. No man's land.
So what is your thoughts on the team that beat the Titans Sunday? Do you think the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders?
Man, I think the Eagles' record will end up 15-2. I think they're gonna be in the dance, man. They got some company, but with the Chiefs and players and Buffalo, and you
Yeah.
got Minnesota, Dallas. But I think they for real right now, man. I think they cooking on all 4 cylinders. I think they okay. They hungry and they ready to reclaim another Super Bowl in Philadelphia. So I think the dirty Eagles are for real, man. I think
The
they for
dirty.
real. That's what I used to call them, man. Oh, yeah,
I thought that was for the Atlanta Falcons, but
I think
but
I'm
if you
gonna
want
hang
to
that
call
tag.
them the Dirty Birds too, of the North, I mean, well, I guess we could try that.
Well, there you go, man. I'm gonna give them a tag too, cause some of them calls on Sunday was horrible, man. But hey, you in their backyard, so you got to play accordingly.
Carlos says Bucks, Eagles. That was impressive win by the Bucks, but the Eagles are really playing at a high level right now, man.
Man, they the Georgia of pro football, man.
I got them number 1 in my power ranking, just
I'm
behind
right
Buffalo.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm saying there's some other teams coming on strong, man. But I think Philadelphia, man, is they playing at a high level, like you stated, man, and they for real, man. Hurts and AJ, man, seem to got a nice little tandem going.
Yeah.
Do you not know after the Titans and Eagles game, they stated, I can't tell you what media outlet said it. You know how you go up after the game and give the love hugs and everything?
Yeah.
They said Tannehill told AJ, man, you ain't have to do us like it.
Yeah, that was going around on the internet.
Yeah, see, but I believe it. I truly believe it. But it makes you realize.
I may have a copy of that somewhere.
Yeah,
I
he
may
don't
have
have
that
a go-to guy. Man, when you got an AJ on that team like that, man, you ain't got nobody comparable to that guy. It hurt, man, because you think about it. When Dante Culpepper was quarterbacking for the Vikes and they had Chris Carter and Moss, do you not know
what? 99 was a good year for them.
Yeah,
98.
Yeah, Moss told him, hey, man, dog, just get me the ball. Let's get it in the air. I love to have a receiver like that I can throw to and make plays, man. For me, I would. Who wouldn't love that? Who does Tannehill got, honestly, that you can even halfway?
Well, Burks, back in the day, Burks would have returned in that game.
Yeah.
Because he was walking around, but, we got concussion protocol nowadays.
Well, yeah.
Which 15 years ago, they're just saying he got his bell rung.
Get him back out there. They just gave him some smelling salt.
Smell the salt,
Yeah, hit the field, baby. But like you said, at CTE, you can't do it now. That's not good, but I don't know.
Well, they got spotters and everything now. They can get a lot of trouble for that.
Oh, yeah, man. You that wouldn't be worth it, man. Be putting a player at too much risk, man.
No. I kid.
I know you do. That's okay. That's what makes the show fun, man. That's what makes me keep coming back. I love it.
Okay, now there's another story going around the league. Now let's move on to the college game. Now, Deion Sanders. I'm going to play some sound bites. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear them. If not, I'll just say them. He got hired to be the Colorado Buffaloes coach in college, and there's a lot of people, some guys I work with, a lot of the national media, they're saying his comments were too off-putting and it's not going to work in Colorado. Listen to some of these. These are 4 or 5 little 10-second bites here. This is Deion Sanders on Sunday night, I want to say, taking the job. Listen to this, audience.
You just happen to see me when I'm right in front of you. You know why? Because I'm coming. I'm coming to restore, to replace, to re-energize some of y'all that are salvageable. I'm not gonna lie, everybody that's
salvageable
ain't gonna have a seat when we get back. But I'm coming.
I said, "You're not gonna have a seat." Here's another bite.
To train you, our kids would go absolutely crazy to be in this situation that you're in. But you don't respect it.
See, guys.
You don't want it.
Said they don't respect it. They don't want it.
Some of y'all don't even think you deserve it. I'm coming. And usually when God sends me to a place, he sent me to a place to be a conduit of change.
He brought God into it, which is fine. I like,
Uniforms may not even look like they look now. The cleats, I guarantee you.
So, well, 2 more.
I We got a few positions already taken care of. 'cause
We
I'm
got
bringing my
positions
lady
already taken care of.
with me, and it's Louis.
Then what else did he say? He here's the last one.
I'm coming. And when I get here, it's gonna be changed. So I want y'all to get ready to go ahead and jump in the portal and do whatever you're gonna do.
He told them kids to jump in the transfer portal.
Because we bring kids that are smart. Say that, smart, tough.
So a lot of people were saying that was condescending and off-putting. I thought he was just keeping it real with them. I didn't have any problem with it. You know, Colorado was 1-11 last year. You know, this team won a national championship, Andre, back in 1990. You remember Rashawn Salam back in 93 won a Heisman for Colorado. And they have hit the pits, and he's just keeping it real with them. Some people thought that was way too off-putting, and he was way too cocky to be talking to a team like that. But what's your take on Deion coming in really hot like that right off the bat with the Colorado?
If you know the Deion Sanders of the Florida State era on up to Dallas, the Falcons, Deion always been show and business. You know, he's looking at it like, if you can't put on the show, give me a show, then you ain't got no business on the field. Now, could it have been said and worded differently? Of course it could have, man. But the bottom line with Deion, I don't know if you can hear it. They quarterback transferred to the portal, and Deion, I think, has a nephew that plays at Alabama.
No, it's his son,
don't forget
Andre.
about me.
Yeah,
but I know the son played at Jackson State, Shedeur.
His son's supposed to transfer as QB.
He finna be the starting quarterback next season. Yeah, he finna
right.
start.
Well, and I'm gonna tell the audience, his son was a 4-star guy out of high school. His son was pretty highly recruited.
Oh yeah. But that can be considered a little nepotism too, man. He ain't got
because it's Deion's son. Yeah.
So you can hand people whatever, man. But Jackson State, the SWAC conference, ain't the same as that conference, man. So you can excel down here. We'll see. Sometime I just hope it don't blow up in Deion's face, man. But you know what I think that's gonna end up happening, man. Deion
People says he don't think it'll last 3 years up there in Boulder.
That's what Deion want to be a head coach in the bigs, man. He's trying to get in the NFL as a head coach, man. And so these
maybe Florida State or Auburn.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I don't know. Do you think he would have got that? Because interim wasn't Cadillac Williams doing all that for them at all. But I don't really keep up with Auburn War Eagles too much, man. But I don't know, man.
No, Cadillac was just he was just an interim guy. He was never a strong candidate. He didn't really have a lot of experience.
No. Well, I can say that for some local coaches here, but will remain nameless. But at the end of the day, man,
how's Eddie George doing at TSU, by the way?
Huh?
How's Eddie George doing at TSU?
I think he's doing all right, man. It's been some rumblings, man. I'm gonna tell you what I think people have said in the circle that I travel in, that he never even really should have been considered for the position, because it's TSU alums that I know could have stepped up and met that challenge. The thing I didn't like about Eddie, man, when he brought in Jeff Fisher for a minute and he brought in his son, dude, what are you trying to do, man? Make a blueprint of the Titans, you know this. Maurice Fitzgerald. You can't make that. I call
run the ball, stop the run.
Titans yeah,
he wants it to be 99, don't it?
Come on, man. You know, sometimes you gotta let the dream go, man. The dream is gonna determine, man. You gotta build right now. You can't keep hollering the miracle in Buffalo and Tennessee. All that's great, but you can't do nothing about that. That's gone, man. You did great, but you got to remember one thing, man. People looked on that season with fondness, man. But this young guys is playing for the Titans. Now they want their own piece of history, don't you think? They want their own
Yeah.
legacy, man. They want to wear that. They want the hardware, man. They want the ring. You know, they don't want second place or runner up. I want the Titans, man. Next season going forward, whatever moves they make, this is the make or break season for us, man. Let's take it all the way, man. You know, you gotta Pittsburgh and teams like that are up and down, but the Eagles came out with a game plan, implementing it game after game, man. To me, I know Titan fans don't want to hear this, but I watch them all for as many as I can watch. But the Eagles are fun to watch, man. They like the Chiefs, man. I enjoy watching them Eagles, man, because they're electrifying, man. And
who do you think they are to bring in at general manager? I forgot to ask you that earlier.
As far as the Titans,
yeah. What program? Really what other team would you like to take an assistant from?
Man, you talking about college level
or pro? I mean, what pro management? I named organizations like Baltimore, the Eagles. We just got beat by the Eagles. Pittsburgh.
I would want them. I'd say if we could, I'd say the Chiefs, man. I wouldn't want the Steelers. I wouldn't want. I'd say Kansas City, man. I'd say
okay.
That ain't a bad move, man. But the thing is with me, if you bring in a top-notch coordinator, you have to do him like it was alleged that they told the late great Bear Bryant's son. He was a big booster down in L. I think his name was Bobby. I want to be right. Don't quote me on it. Bobby Bryant. But when they first, you remember Gene Stallings?
Yeah.
Great at
Alabama. Yeah.
He left because his son had some artistic issues, which you can commend a father for that. But when I think they had Mike DeBose, it didn't work out, and they brought in a guy that they got now down there, man. And they pretty much told the alumni and stuff like that, hey, Bobby, hands off, man. Hands off. Just leave him alone. Let him bring in his team and let him do what he do. And you've seen the results of that. Do you think Amy can do the same? Or do you think I need to know, like Jerry Jones about Dallas, man? He ain't nothing going on that in that organization that Jones ain't in control of, man.
Right. Yeah. I think they'll win a Super Bowl probably when he passes, unfortunately.
Well,
I wouldn't mind seeing them win this year. Now, I'm out of Nashville. We're out of Nashville. I wouldn't mind seeing the Titans win, but realistically, somebody like Buffalo, even though they lost Von Miller for the season with an ACL.
Yeah, I saw that.
Philly's got a really good shot. Kansas City's still in it. The 49ers, they took a big blow there with their quarterback getting hurt. He may be back by the divisional playoff game. So I think it's probably Kansas City or Buffalo out of the AFC. I don't think the NFC is going to win it this year, but who knows?
Anything can change, man. But you can say the same thing about Odell Beckham, man, with his ACL. Do these people have time to rehab fully? Like, you remember how Derrick Henry came back, man? He wasn't running the same for a while, man. It was like, I'm still scared to put everything on this, man, because I feel the same way about Beckham, man. They Dallas looked at him, man, but you can't put no money into something like that, man, because you don't know if he's gonna be ready to go, man, because that's a year to rehab that kind of injury, man.
Yeah. It's his second ACL, and some players have came back. Adrian Peterson came back less than a calendar year and ran for 2,000 yards. It depends on the kind of work that the player puts in. Joe Burrow, big win on Sunday. He tore his ACL and his MCL in 2020. Last year with a bad offensive line, he gets to the Super Bowl, It just depends on the individual and how much work they want to put in and how much fear they have of or lack thereof of not re-injuring their ACL once they get back in there.
Well, yeah, that's you look at Lamar Jackson, man. He sprained his PCL. You know,
Yeah.
he doubtful on Sundays. I don't know if it's the field, man, the way they run, hits, but you know, the old players that had them kind of injuries, they ain't probably take them a year to heal. I'm going back to the 70s and but you know, this a whole different game now, man, and a little
Yeah.
faster and you know, and the way they got medicines and these orthopedics. Shoot, look, it's so varied, man, that they can come back faster than most people can, man. They got a
Yeah.
good staff and a good team in place. That's like the doctor that I don't know if he's still the doctor for the Titans or not, man, but Dr. Russell Tompkins, man, over at Tennessee Orthopedic.
Yeah.
I tore my meniscus one year, man, and that guy was incredible, man. And the Titans players saw him as well, and it just amazed me how fast they rehabbed, man, and came back. But who's to say, man?
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Let me turn around on you tonight, man.
Let's
So,
not
so
get
you
too
asked me a
far off
question,
topic
man.
here, but go ahead.
You asked me a question about you inboxed me. You were talking about Udoka.
Yeah, yeah. You sent me something the other day on Udoka about him not having. There's maybe a possibility he may not ever get another coaching job. Go ahead.
I think the windows of opportunity for him are closing, man. I'm telling you, because I researched the Nets, man, and the Nets have a lot of ladies in their organization that are basically saying we don't want him. It almost like, man, Michael Vick, even though their situations were vastly different, he still got blackballed for a long time until the Eagles took a chance on him. Remember?
Yeah.
Same thing with Udoka. It's gonna all come down to who want that smoke, man. Who want that heat with him? Like, hey, when I sign you, it's gonna come with a lot of stipulations and coddles, man. It's gonna be almost like, man, I'm gonna have people watching you 24/7 because you are a great coach and you're a winning coach because he coached with Popovich. The guy know how to win. He's a
Yeah.
motivator, but the guy this when it comes to the ladies, man, this guy can't control his urges, man. And
Right. And you know what? And I just read he's been in the news this past week. Him and Nia Long time 13-year relationship. They're officially separating now
oh yeah,
because of all this. You know, when I was in college up at Austin P, man, I could say this with all security. You know, Ime Udoka is a good-looking guy, tall guy, good-looking guy,
yeah.
on his way up to stardom. I mean, he could have been a next Chuck Daly type of. I think that the Celtics could go on a 2 or 3 championship run up there. But you know, going back to myself at Austin P, I had similar offers of what are temptations that he has with women, but the drama with these very attractive women that were married or seeing somebody, their husband was in the military, he was in Iraq. I went to Austin P in the early 2000s, right?
Okay.
So I'm looking at myself, I'm thinking the drama versus this affair is not worth it. It's just, and it sounds like this guy, now I'm not planning to be a psychiatrist or some kind of rehab specialist, but it sounds like kind of like a Deshaun Watson situation, little Tiger Woods, that he may have some kind of sex addiction because he has an opportunity of a lifetime to take over with that Celtic. Now, Celtics are doing really well now, but I'm reading that this goes back to other organizations too. They warned him to stop pursuing this lady. He kept pursuing it. It's just like he can't help himself. And it's really unfortunate to see that kind of fall from grace all over trying to have, like you said, a side affair with somebody. It just seems it's really unfortunate. You know, I think the Celtics will be fine, but you just see that this guy it seems like he might have a problem, you know?
I think he had a hidden problem with that for quite a while,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to Nia Long, which Nia stated that the Celtics organization, which she has a legitimate point that they didn't reach out to her like they did the victim, which Nia's a victim too, because that lady relocated from California, hub of the entertainment capital, to follow her fiance to Boston, and the woman that allegedly he was involved in
Yeah.
with her moved Nia and her kids out there, man. So it's like Matt Bond had stated previously, it's a big, big, messy mess, man. But think about it. How Kareem hadn't done it. Uh, Charles Barkley hadn't. You got Patrick Ewing that coached at Georgetown. I'm just saying, when you play the game of basketball from high school, little Pee Wee League, little
Yeah.
all the way to the college level, if you get the chance to coach in the college level, and somebody watch you scouting you, say, hey man, we love to have him on the Celtics organization as our coach. He mentored under Greg Popovich, one of the best coaches I think in the NBA, point blank period. I always loved that guy for a whole lot of reasons.
Yeah.
You get the chance, like you said, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, legend. I ain't got time to tell you how many stats and awards and stuff
Right.
this guy's had. He ain't never been offered the opportunity to coach in the NBA. You get a dream job of a lifetime, dude. You had the city of Boston in your hands.
Right.
Because think about it, you took and turned that whole team around that would have took somebody else 2 to 3 years. You did it in
1 year.
In a season, and you threw that all away. Man, this woman had to look like Raquel Welch to make me want to do that. I'm not throwing away several million on nobody, man. So I don't get it, man. It just boggles the mind.
It bobs my mind too, and the fact that him and Nia Long are separating, very. She was basically a sex symbol in the 90s, wasn't she?
Hey man, the woman still look good to this day.
She's 50 and looks 40. Man,
hey, I don't know if it's Hollywood photoshops or this girl works out or whatever, but I don't think she's coming into her age well and gracefully, man. I don't see, to me, anybody else would say, what did you see in somebody else that you couldn't see in your own lady, man? I don't understand it. He got a kid with Nia. She has a previous child from another relationship, but let's be real. By the time she dig in that pocketbook, man, he gonna want to coach on some level if it ain't nothing but college, not high school. But he might get a coach in college position. But even with that, a lot of people gonna come out against him, man. The women groups, the Me Too movement. Not knocking it. It is a very essential thing to have, man. Because I think, like I stated show or two before, no meant no, and that's just what it was. I don't see what he saw. And then they said he kind of made some crass remarks, but I heard that Danny Ainge, she knew Danny, and Danny knew her family, and I think Danny went to the organization on her behalf and said, look, she came to me with her concerns.
Yeah.
What can we do? Think about it. Danny Ainge was in play operations. His name still carries a lot of weight in Boston Celtic lore. So, with all them kind of people against you, man, the cards were stacked. The deck was stacked against him, man. But he really done got pretty much, he was a better coach than Steve Nash with the Nets. But, hey, man.
And they still didn't go with him. They still with somebody else last month.
Yep.
And I still haven't read anything whether they're going to bring him back after this suspension. I don't think he's going to come back to Boston.
That guy, if he had on shoulder pads, man, I know this ain't a comparison, but I got to say it, man. That guy's almost a Colin Kaepernick of NBA basketball. Man.
Who's that?
Udoka, man. He ain't going to land on no teams, man. He just ain't, bro. He ain't gonna land with a team, man. Nobody.
He might as well just take a knee for the national anthem.
He might as well, brother, cause he pretty much, man, stick a fork in that pot roast. He done, man. He ain't gonna see another NBA team. Cause most teams, like I said, heaven forbid, like Georgia LaFronte, that used to be the owner of the old Rams, you know, when it's a female owner or women groups, like I said, man, they frown on that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
They don't want somebody, man, that's I ain't gonna say he's a sexual deviant, man, but he ain't far from it, man.
That's what it sounds. I mean, Tiger Woods went to a rehab for sex, and I think it gets frowned upon. But we used to frown upon gambling addiction.
True.
And then you had, before that, you had alcohol and drugs. I think it can be up there with those other addictions, if you ask me, by reading this sort of thing all the time. I mean, the Tiger Woods thing took a lot out of him, man.
Oh, man, that hurt him bad. But when you said about far as gambling, man, you can name a whole lot of prior past NFL players that lost everything they had, their careers, their families, their marriage, chasing that money, man, gambling addictions, man. And like Carlos just said, Danny Ainge moved away from that smoke too. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Danny came out from under it, but you know, Danny name still carries a lot of weight in the NBA.
Yeah, he's in Utah now.
Yeah, that's right. And because he's from that area, man, I think, man.
Yeah, I think so. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, he wanted that job with the Nets, man. Don't get me wrong. If everything would have worked out, man, he was pretty much a shoe-in, man. But I think somebody pulled a chain of the Nets organization. Look, this man got too much baggage. Move away from him. Don't you think that's the case? Everybody that probably would interview him, they gonna state that. They gonna say, look, great guy, far as his coaching ability, but we got that elephant in the room that we got to keep addressing.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And nobody's gonna mess up you're talking about dollars and cents, man. If I was an owner, I can't take a chance on you, man, to lose my revenue.
Yeah.
That's why Colin can't land nowhere, even in spite of the national anthem.
Well, you know, the 10 accusers went to Deshaun Watson's first game back after his suspension on Sunday against the Houston Texans.
That's right. But look, can I jump in here for a second?
Yeah.
You, man, because I know you got to wrap it up. I ain't seen my buddy Pickles tonight, but look, I love what she just stated. As a kid, I loved him as a Jet. I even had a Jet simulation Riddell made to him. My brother had a Rams, and I got the Jets. When she said he did almost lose his career. He started crying. If you go on YouTube and look at the old video from it, Joe Namath had a restaurant in Florida called Bachelor's 3. Mm-hmm. Pete Rozelle, the actual Pete Rozelle, was around and living then. Yeah. They told Joe Namath, look, either you sell your entrance in that club because there was some undesirables coming in. You think about that's the 60s when they were doing that. And Joe Namath cried on, I guess at a press conference, said, I guess I just had to quit playing football.
Yeah.
But he sold his entrance and the rest is history.
Right.
But what are you willing to give up to achieve your dream? Joe loved the game of football. Ime Udoka loved basketball. But
right.
In moving into 2022, no team, I can name you plenty of teams, man, could use him right now. Use his expertise. But they not going to touch him, man. They ain't going to touch him with a 10-foot ball.
That's an interesting story. So go back to Deion Sanders. Do you think that will last in Colorado? Do you think he'll be successful to certain extent in Colorado? I think he will be. I think he'll win 8 to 10 games.
5 or 6 next season coming up.
Oh, well, next season, yeah.
Yeah. But my take on him, it depends on this, Rob. And you know, this is an old saying, but it's as true as the sun shining in the mornings. If the players and the university and the alumni buy in and let him put together the team that he trying to get, possibility. But my thing is with Deion, you're talking about impressionable young men. It ain't one of them but a game. He could have been used a little more decorum, man. But let's be honest, Deion
so you think it was a little over the top?
Yeah, Deion ain't gonna use a lot of decorum, man. Because I I know how he said about Troy Aikman. Not when Troy Aikman, it was Tony Romo.
Oh, Romo got mad because he said he didn't like the tackle.
That's right. And Deion said, well, you know what? I ain't never lived on Loser Street. Where that located? he said, I got.
I actually like that comeback by Deion.
No, but you know, Deion the king of quips and comebacks, man. So,
I've always liked Deion. I think he's a good. You know, he was 27-5 at Jackson State.
Hey, man, they won it twice, back to back.
They were undefeated this year.
Yeah, that's right. And they had the mayor addressing. He did a little impromptu, basically, press conference saying, "Hey, we got to continue to build on what Deion left. You got to look at the pluses and minuses, the takeaways or the ads." Deion,
are you mad that he left Jackson because he said God told him to go to Jackson?
Nah, I ain't mad, man. Because I tell you why. Deion left a blueprint that Eddie George Jr. or Eddie Robinson Jr. The guy that wouldn't shake his hand.
Grambling? Is it Grambling?
Yeah, but see, this is me. He got mad at Deion because he said, "You ain't swag." And the bottom.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah,
I don't care if he's swag or not. Deion has been around enough plays and players and personnel to know how to win. He did stuff off the field that nobody else in Jackson, Mississippi was doing. He brought water to a lot of people because they had issues and still
the water problem. Yeah.
He got the new field put together. He got the Adidas contract, got them better practice facility. People were buying in. And the mayor basically said, hey, you know, he had to do what was best in his best family interest. And at the end of the day, that's what you do. I don't know if Aaron Judd has a girlfriend, a wife. I don't delve that much into their personal thing. But if you a player, man, or coach,
man. Well, looks like he went to the black screen on me. I may hopefully Andre will come back. There he is. Okay.
Now I'm sorry,
dark
man.
On me.
What were you stating?
Yeah, I said you look like you went to the dark screen on me. Like in TV, I thought you started cursing.
Hey, I didn't go to the dark side, but but Deion.
All right, Dark Vader.
There you go. I just hope he does good, man. In Colorado, he did leave something special at Jackson.
Yeah,
be it short as it was, yes, it can be disputed. You got people and coaches that in the SWAC conference that felt like all he came here was to build his brand. It wasn't never about Jackson State. I ain't gonna say that, man, because think about it. How many other programs do you think he could have went to other than Jackson State, man?
That's true. That's true. I don't know many, but he had some problems with that high school, that prime prep academy.
Yeah, I remember that.
Years ago, he punched a chancellor, and he had some kind of violations with recruiting, but that was over 10 years ago, and it seems like he's run a really tight ship at Jackson State. I'm impressed, man, with what he did at Jackson. He got the best player in the country to commit there, cornerback last year.
That's what I'm saying. I brought in, man. I love Deion from the days of Florida State, man. Like I said, until now, I can tell you this much. If you look at any you, that's why I love YouTube, man. YouTube is the go-to thing for everything, man. If you just want to go back and relive. You look at Deion, man, when he was a corner. I bet you this much, wide receiver. The guy, everything he touched on his football field, man, he excelled in it. And if you kick to his side and he got some daylight on you, he taking it back to the house, man. You can believe that, man. That guy.
I think usually that doesn't transfer into coaching. Usually, great players don't make great coaches, but I think he's going to be a rarity. You know, Larry Bird wasn't a bad coach.
No, he wasn't. He was good in Indiana, man. I loved it. Yeah. I always had an issue, and you tell me when I got to wrap this up.
I'm over, actually. I need to wrap it up now, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is my take on Larry Bird and the whole Celtic mystique. This is why I kind of get on the fence a little bit at times with my beloved Celtics. they never really made a home for Larry Bird to land in after his career was over. Now, if you
Yeah.
tell me different, you did for Danny Ainge. Let's be honest, man. Danny was a utility player. He was good, but he wasn't no Larry Joe Bird, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Bird wanted to stay in Indiana, I think. I think that was his state, home state and everything.
Well, you know, he was a shy guy, man, maybe.
Yeah, he didn't like the limelight like the others did.
Oh, yeah, they absorbed it, man.
Yeah.
But look, man, I'm going to let you go, brother.
Yeah, I'll see you hopefully next Wednesday if you're going to be able to make it.
Hey, I'll come along the party, keep going, but I want to let your watchers know, man. I enjoy reading the comments. and what you think about Krista Alley right quick, man? We lost a good one the other day.
Yeah, hey, that's on Cheers. Speaking of Boston, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. She
71 years old, man. She had a short battle with cancer.
Yeah, I tell you what, I remember Big McHale doing a guest spot on Cheers, man. That was my show, man. I hated to lose Krista, man. She was a pretty girl. But you know, God knows best. But brother, enjoy it. Thank y'all for having me, man. And I love to come back in and read Carlos and Pickles' comments, man. And I'm gonna go to Atlas tomorrow and eat me some fried pickles. I'll do it in pickles on, man.
All right, man. Hey, have a good one. I'll see you next week, hopefully.
Hey,
stay in touch between now and then if you got show ideas.
Okay, well,
topics.
You want me back on? I'm gonna tell you this, man. You see, Ron, your buddy Ron did a little special on Channel 5 tonight, man. They had him on TV. Reach out to him, man.
What for what?
They had him on, man, for talking about safety in Nashville, man. They went up to the Citizen Plaza building and interviewed him. I talked to him earlier, man, and it was a nice little interview. So watch the news tonight, man.
Okay. I thought maybe somebody robbed Bob Evans and he apprehended him.
Well, I tell you what, if they rob him for that salty gravy, it is. they won't have to rob nobody else. That's 30 weight, man. That's 40 weight oil. But look, man, love you, man. Have a great night, and your listeners have a great rest of the week, man. And if God willing, we'll do it again next Wednesday.
All right, buddy. See you, man. Thanks, everybody.
All right.